So she's either lazy and incompetent, or she willingly humiliated some of the president's most loyal supporters. Neither one of those is good, and that's why I'm sorry, but I'm going to predict her days are numbered as a member of the Trump administration.
Her days are numbered. That's Megyn Kelly, of course, talking about Attorney General Pam Bondi, expressing a lot of the outrage, frustration, fury from not just MAGA media people, but a lot of conservatives, a lot of normal people who've been told that the Jeffrey Epstein files were going to come clean. People were going to get arrested, and not so much. I'm Mediaite founding editor Colby Hall, and Pam Bondi dug herself a big hole that's hard to see her come out of. If you haven't been paying attention, let's let Fox News explain what's going on.
The memo from the Justice Department suggests they are moving on from this investigation, but it's Attorney General Pam Bondi's handling of the issue that is being scrutinized.
When a Fox News reporter is saying Pam Bondi is being scrutinized, that's not good news for Pam Bondi.
Earlier this year, she was asked by John Roberts about a potential list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients, and it's been making the rounds.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients? Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review.
The client list is sitting on her desk, she said on Fox News for everyone to see, right? She said something different, however, during a cabinet meeting just earlier this week.
And my response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file along with the JFK, MLK files as well. That's what I meant by that.
If you say that's what I meant by that, probably not a good sign. And understandably, a lot of people in the MAGA media world, particularly Fox News, weren't buying it. Even the most loyal supporters of Trump, Laura Ingraham. Michael Schellenberger was a guest on the Ingraham Angle, and he made clear exactly why people are so angry.
People are not satisfied with the answers from the administration, and they shouldn't be, because we had not just the Attorney General, but also the Director of the FBI and the Deputy Director of the FBI all say, that those two gentlemen, Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, say last year and the year before, Kash Patel said that that FBI and DOJ wouldn't do anything under the Biden administration, that it was up to Republicans in Congress to do it, and that DOJ and FBI wouldn't do anything about it because of who was on the list. When Attorney General Bondi talks about tens of thousands of hours of video, I think it's understandable that the perception people had was that it was the videos of the blackmailing, not just of downloaded pornography.
Even Jesse Waters, who's as big a Trump loyalist as Laura Ingraham, had on guest Patrick Bet-David, who basically made clear what a big mess up this was.
There is a reason why people are asking about this. This is by far, and I'm a supporter, 3 times I voted for this man. This is by far the biggest fumble of the administration. I think this was the biggest fumble when it came down to Epstein. And the more they answer like that, the more attention you're going to draw to. People are going to ask, why are they so nervous about this?
Greg Gutfeld, he got in the act and made fun of Bondi's bad answer.
Kind of like I was listening to Pam Bondi, and it was like, I was talking about this in our meeting today, that it's like somebody...
Were you listening to her while you were in the steam room again?
Yes, I was. You know my habits. But it's like when somebody tells a lie or a rumor and gets called on it, and then they just kind of like, you could see their head. It's like she was like...
Yeah.
Even Gutfeld regular Kat Timpf just openly ridiculed and made fun of Attorney General Pam Bondi.
I don't think that this is going to be the end of the conversation for a lot of people. And you got to understand, because a lot of the same people were the ones kind of asking all these questions. And
Bondi.
Bondi herself, especially, right? She can't just be like, I meant to say he did kill himself. Yeah, like, typo.
It's so true.
Yeah, that was everything I said. All those other things I said were all typos.
But it's not just Fox News. Like, former Fox News hosts turned media influencers on YouTube and Twitter, like Tucker Carlson, who put in proper scale just what a big deal this is for himself and for his massive audience of followers.
Pam Bondi, as you said, went on television, so we have the truth and we're going to give it to you.
Yes.
I think this is a big deal. They're covering up, the DOJ, the current DOJ under Pam Bondi is covering up crimes. Very serious crimes by their own description.
Now, notably, he didn't really blame Trump so much. Guess who he pointed the finger of blame at?
You're really playing with fire when you do
well,
that.
especially when you said the conspiracy and then now revert
it's
to
too
the
much.
lie.
It's too much.
That is too much.
Do you know? I mean, can you call Pam Bondi and say, I think Pam Bondi's under a ton of pressure. Again, I've always liked Pam Bondi. I know her. I think she's under enormous pressure. I don't know how good she is under pressure. I'm trying to be nice, but I don't think that she's like a sinister person who is, doing the work of Leon Black and Ehud Barak on purpose, really. But I wonder if they know this is a real thing here.
But it was Megyn Kelly who went hardest, and she is a bright mind and a really good litigator, and she laid out the case against the Trump administration, the DOJ in particular, Pam Bondi, in a way that's, again, not good news for Pam Bondi.
It's more than just right-wing nuts, as like some in the press would have you believe, Tom, who are saying, wait. And on top of all that, you've got the Bondi statements over and over. The one saying, she didn't say the file's on my desk. She was asked specifically about the client list, and she said, it's on my desk right now. Then a week later, she promised Jesse Waters she was about to dump some sort of information dump that we were all going to be really interested in.
Megyn was quick to point out what she called the debacle of Pam Bondi's inviting MAGA media influencers to the White House to parade the Epstein file notebooks that really backfired.
The next day was the influencer debacle at the White House, where for some reason she invited some of the president's most loyal supporters and tried to humiliate them by giving them Epstein file marked binders, which had nothing new in them. It was all publicly released information that had already been out there. Then she acted indignant. She didn't know it was the sleazy FBI who had withheld the real documents from her. She was going to get to the bottom of it. Then she said a further release would come. One did not come. Then she was caught on tape saying there are tens of thousands of kiddie porn or child pornography material that we found, which again is like a third issue over here. And next thing we know, there's no there.
Megyn's guest, Tom Bevan of Real Clear Politics, he laid out why this is a big problem for the Trump administration precisely.
They want this story to end. It's not going to end. In fact, it's probably going to make it worse because it has just raised a whole new set of questions about, okay, now the Trump administration, who promised us accountability and transparency on all sorts of issues, is now doing the exact same thing that previous administrations have done. And you can already see that bubbling up online among Trump supporters who are just, disappointed at the way that they've handled this.
And to make it clear, where Megyn Kelly thought the problem lied within the Trump administration, she gave Kash Patel and Dan Bongino a pass and retrained her focus on Pam Bondi.
I've been listening carefully to Bongino, to Kash. Since taking office, they have not said the Bondi stuff. They are not out on that same limb since taking over at FBI. Only she is. And one of the reasons that's interesting, Carl, is because Trump sent out a tweet last night praising two of the three that we're talking about here, Kash Patel and Dan Bongino. Noticeably absent from the list was Pam Bondi. And he knows as well as you and I know she's under fire.
She's under fire. Now, Megyn Kelly and all these media figures are very tied into the Trump administration. So they're not saying this in a vacuum. They're making observations, but these are observations that are well informed from people within the Trump White House. Could it be that Pam Bondi is in over her head?
Could the answer simply be that Pam Bondi is over her head? She's done this. She's spoken out of school the way I've never heard an AG speak on other cases. There was this case, we're gonna throw the book at that person. We're not gonna plea bargain it. We're gonna give them 30 years before the indictment. And she just has behaved in ways on other cases that makes me wonder if she's the SAT question that doesn't add up.
And all of this build to this finale where Megyn Kelly just went off.
What kind of an attorney general would pretend she's giving new information to some of the president's most loyal advocates in the press, buying ink by the barrel? So either Pam Bondi knew she was about to embarrass some of his most loyal surrogates out there and did that willingly, or she didn't take the time to make sure what was in those binders. She was too lazy to actually figure out none of this is new. And yet she called a meeting with the influencers that included Kash Patel, the head of the FBI, and the sitting vice president. So she's either lazy and incompetent, or she willingly humiliated some of the president's most loyal supporters. Neither one of those is good, and that's why I'm sorry, but I'm going to predict her days are numbered as a member of the Trump administration.
Again, all these loud voices, influential voices in Trump world, MAGA world, Fox News, conservative circles, they're all blaming Attorney General Pam Bondi, and that's not out of the blue. There's long been reports and rumors that Trump was not happy with Pam Bondi, and now you can see why. She basically stepped in it big time during a cabinet meeting, and when these individuals have the freedom and luxury to speak so openly against someone in the Trump administration, they're probably doing that with the blessing at the highest level within the Trump White House, right? So is Trump a firing type? No. For a guy that's famous tagline was, "You're fired," he's notorious for not wanting to pull the trigger and fire people. But there is a lot of pressure around Pam Bondi, and as Megyn said, it does seem like her days are numbered. Now, who's the obvious replacement if she is to get pushed out? Look no further than former Fox News host Jeanine Pirro. She's a former judge. She's best friends, like family friends with Trump. And yes, she was just appointed to be a DC U.S. attorney, but if she's called on to be the next attorney general, it's the most obvious choice in the world, and it wouldn't surprise me or anyone else, I think, if the next attorney general for the United States is Judge Jeanine Pirro. Kind of crazy, but Trump likes his Fox News hosts. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Mediaite founding editor Colby Hall. Please click the like and subscribe button for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.